Alright, live. Nice. So, hello everyone who's watching later. If you're wondering about the glasses, it's because, like my video says, I've been having bad migraine lately. So, to cure it, I've been wearing sunglasses while I've been going on electronics, and I finally got some some glasses that actually block out blue light and stuff, so that's been good for my eyes, but they're super ugly. So I'm hoping people watching later, I'm hoping to get some new ones. There you go. They're very big, but I don't want to wear them on stream, so I'll just wear these ones. Yeah, hi Kennedy. Yeah, they're pretty good though. I've been wearing them lately, but I'll stick with these sunglasses for now. But let me just get everything ready because I just read that off my phone. Get my live stream up. I don't want to keep looking up this time because I always do that because I'm looking at the computer. Yeah, try and keep like this. Wait, get them down here. Alright. Let me just tweet this out and then we'll be good. But yeah, like I've been saying, Jimmy Dore fans not happy with me. Some of my loyal subscribers actually unsubscribed and they made a point of telling me because apparently I was smearing him, even though I felt I was very fair. And I always try and be fair. I even said I didn't think it was influencing what he was saying. So I'm a bit annoyed. I was being called, like, not called, being, you know, people saying I was smearing him. So live streaming right now, come and join. Alright, I am ready now. So, get the live chat. Hi, Evan. They're fine. Okay, they look like your glasses, but they're just a bit too big for me. I need to get some smaller ones. Kin saying sunglasses are dope. That doesn't mean the blue light glasses aren't pretty neat in their own right. They're pretty ugly, but I appreciate it. Olivia, hi Olivia. You were too fair on Jimmy. I hate him. Maybe I was a bit too fair. I don't watch Jimmy Dore. I don't really watch him. I used to watch him a lot more when I was younger, but I still don't mind some of his comedy things. A sound in the background. Yeah, I was gonna put some letters on. Right, what does everyone think of my ugly ass anti-migraine sunglasses? I look like these are so ugly. It's like if I wanted Clark Kent and I'm trying to disguise myself while I work for the Daily Bugle. I definitely need some nice ones, but yeah, very good because I realised my migraine might have been triggered by car headlamps, or you know, whatever you call the front lights, and I think it might have originally been triggered by playing Tetris Effect because there's always bright colours, and I don't know why I suddenly got it first in my life, but still. Best answer I need, but I appreciate it. Alright, some more people join. Edna Mode from The Incredibles, yeah. exactly. That's what I feel like. Some old lady. I had a migraine yesterday. Oh no. Do you get them often? They seriously are the worst thing. Like, I had my last one I got on Friday, and I didn't feel better until like a week after. Really, this is the first day I've actually felt a lot better. All my American subscribers, I'm happy. My girlfriend brought me one of these from an American shop. Basically, these are really nice and they're really low calorie, and they used to sell them in the UK, but of course, because they were my favourite drink, they stopped selling them, which pisses me off because they were so nice. So I think when I left uni, they stopped selling them. So it's the first one I've had in like 2 years. So it's annoying. Where's my white cane? Yeah, because I look like Matt Murdock. That's what people said. It's the hair and the sort of beard. He has a big stubble rather than facial hair. I actually saw him on the tube, Charlie Cox, when I was going for a job interview like 5 months ago with his children. it was so surreal when you're watching a show with a guy all the time. And I know him from like Boardwalk Empire. Not that I personally know him, but I know him as an actor. And then it's weird just seeing him. Which flavour though, Kennedy? I like the silver one the best. The other ones are kind of, I don't really like the yellow, purple, or the red one is okay. But yeah, the 0 calorie ones. But this is so much nicer. I really, really like these ones. Too bad they just don't sell them here anymore, which fucking sucks. Or you can go to somewhere in London, they sell them for £5 for one. I guess you could compare it to getting a pint of beer at a pub. That's what I try and use the logic of. But at the same time, it is way too much when it used to be £1.20. Yeah, you hate it. The tea mixed with lemonade, yeah. They used to do one which was just green tea and Monster, no lemonade. And it was kind of disgusting, but I kind of liked that. I had it when I was in Spain once. But anyway, just shift the topic a bit. We can still talk about this, but the Jimmy Dore stuff, basically, what a strange culture we have that rewards and compliments the superficial. That's just like what being humans like, really. Always compliment the dumb stuff, like looks, for example. But basically, yeah, the Jimmy Dore stuff. What my main point is, okay, his big thing, and Kim Irvington is like, oh, corporate media, corporate PAC money, influencing what people say. Like I use in the video, if Jimmy Dore found that Jake Tapper had been getting awards of like $5,000 from some Israeli lobby group, do you think he wouldn't make a video on it? So people were saying, and I think Jimmy Dore barely even responded to it. He just said, oh, it's like a hit job on him. If you're accepting like thousands of dollars from a pro-Assad lobby group with deep ties to the Assad regime, that is at the very least a breach of journalistic ethics. And you but you know, Kim especially paints herself as a journalist. If you're a journalist, you do not take money from any pro-government groups, let alone a crazy one like the Syria Solidarity Movement. And Jimmy Dore has the founding member on his show and doesn't even disclose it. And she just gives the truth on Syria, basically pro-Assad talking points. And some of you guys will know, if you've been watching me a long time, my main problem with people like Kim and Jimmy and some other elements is that in their criticism of the West, Western imperialism, things like that, they go so far in their criticism, they essentially rehabilitate these figures. So my main point was, it's not surprising they gave Jimmy Dore money. I'm not saying that, like in my video, I'm not saying that they paid him money and said, please say this about Assad. What I am saying is that they found a voice they like. They're like, keep saying this stuff, keep pushing conspiracy theories about Assad, make it look like every single gas attack is not done by Assad, it's done by the rebels doing a... Because the thing is, that stuff is pretty complicated. I'm not going to say that there isn't any... Not evidence. There is any like definitive proof that every single gas attack is done by the regime. But you have to be pretty naive to think that every single or most of these attacks are done by rebels, especially the lengths they would have to go to frame the regime. And you know, you can say some of these rebels, a lot of these rebels are in like al-Nusra and ISIS. That's terrible. And they're fighting a government which is terrible as well. I would probably, you know, like to keep Assad in power rather than have ISIS run the country. Doesn't mean I'm going to go out my way to act like Assad is some great guy. If you know anything about the history of the region and the history of the Assad family, they're brutal dictators. Maybe not as insane as someone like Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi, but they are awful people as well. And I think that's what's omitted from, you know, to these Tulsi fans, and it goes to a broader criticism of Tulsi, is that her stance on a lot of these dictators and authoritarian leaders is that if they're good against Islamic terrorism and Islamicism, that means they're good allies. So she praised Sisi, for example, in Egypt. Obviously not as bad as Assad, but he's shit as well. Praising Modi, and she obviously has a sit-down conversation with Assad, which I don't actually have a problem with. But when you look in the larger narrative of her worldview, and I was talking with, I'm going to get into comments in a second. I was talking with Jose, if he ever comes later, on Twitter, and he was kind of rebuking a lot of my points on the Tulsi video. But my whole point was, Tulsi's worldview is that it's all about America, and she only cares about America, and she's only anti-war as far as America's concerned, because if she was truly against nuclear war, there is no way she would endorse Modi, who's pushing that region to conflict, because I said before in the video, people speculate that India and Pakistan could be one of the only instances where you could have a limited nuclear conflict, in the sense that they would just use nukes on each other and not other countries in the region. And if you look at Tulsi's view, it does seem like she's anti-war just to save US lives. And I think we've talked about isolationism before. There is an element of, why people like David Duke and Richard Spencer, and maybe even Scaramucci, like Tulsi Gabbard, is because she's this sort of America first, but in a lot. I'm not saying she's like Trump, but it's a lot of what Trump is saying, but in a way smarter and more thoughtful way. Is that bring our troops home, focus on us, rather than someone like Bernie Sanders, who's like, I'm anti-war as a concept in general. I'm going to apply that throughout my life. I'm going to stand up for these issues I care about, and it doesn't matter where it is. I saw AOC recently voicing her support for the Kashmiris. I'm sure Bernie has done something similar, and then you can see who the real fighters for these policies are. Whereas Tulsi is sort of like, I'm just for the US essentially. Even though people might associate her with someone like Bernie, I don't really accept that argument as much. So I'll get into some of the comments. Sorry, I've been ignoring them. Veronica said, I love the Matrix look. Thank you. Is it Matrix? Matrix is a bit more like rectangular. But yeah, thank you. Show us your stanky leg. Wait, Mr. Button Smasher, can you see that comment I wrote on the community thing? Have they changed it now? Because you couldn't see the comments before. But yeah, that's why it's late. That's why it's always a late stream, because I spend all Sunday practicing the stanky leg. Kennedy saying, Jimmy Dore blocked me on Twitter for making a joke about him. I didn't even... What? That's crazy. I wonder if he'll tag me. Tag me? He'll block me one day because of my video. Maybe he knows you're a mod in the Majority Report. Okay, maybe that's a good reason as well. Oh, nice, Kennedy. You had an interview with a writer for the New York Times. That's cool. How did she find you or reach out to you? So it's on shapewear and empowerment, and you got some anti-capitalism and anti-advertisement sentiments there. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how she'd reach out to you. So HSCMUFC said, do you think Tulsi is in favour of the BJP because of her association to Hinduism, or is there more to it than that? I think Tulsi's whole thing for a while has been being anti-Islamic extremism, but in the sense she uses the right-wing talking point, like Obama doesn't say it, and then she said stuff in the past like Islamic extremism is really bred from the ideology rather than the socio-economic climate of a region. So it's just, I feel that it's motivated partly by that, because I'm trying to think, I don't understand if she knows what the BJP and RSS are about, if she's truly anti-war or all these things, how she can support them. And I think it could be a political move in trying to get some Indian American support and maybe broader support on the international stage, because obviously India is, I don't know if it's the first or second most populated country in the world, and most of those people are Hindus in India. And I have a lot of people arguing in my comments. I got sort of brigaded by Indian people who supported Modi, sort of saying, India is not fascist. Talk about the Islamo-fascist Pakistan. Talk about all these terrorists in Bangladesh. And they frame it as Modi and Hindu nationalism is good because it's sort of anti-Islamicism, essentially. And it's anti-Islamic terror, which I think is why Tulsi might like it if she really understands it. But honestly, as well as she comes across, I don't know. As well as she comes across, I don't know if maybe she's willingly naive on these things. 'Cause again, if you do a tiny bit of research on what the RSS and BJP are, it's obviously a fascist organisation. I have no problem saying that. It's not even controversial. When you're throwing around the words like race traitor in your ideology, I don't think there's much of a debate on what your ideology is. So Evan's saying, I'm trying to get a Marxist society going in my school, but it failed. So I just talk about anti-capitalist and feminist society. Yeah, that's probably a better idea, because I think, are you 17 or 16? I think when you're that age, even when I was in first year of uni, I remember one of my flatmates said, "Oh, I went to the Marxist Society meeting just to see what it was like. I'm not actually a Marxist," and I was thought, when I think I was like 19, I was like, how ridiculous, Marxist Society. I was like, what a joke. Like, who actually believes this stuff? It's super unrealistic. And then, so a 16-year-old me would be even more anti that stuff. So it's pretty hopeless when you're younger. Oh, that's cool. So what did you tweet about it? Have I had eye surgery? No, but my eye, it's a bit twitchy, like this one. It feels okay though, but it's just keeping the stupid blue light off my eyes for now. So Teresa's saying, crazy free market, laissez-faire economists took us from the first Gilded Age and the Grand Canyon of Depression, so we reel it in, introduce regulation of purpose spending, and do it again the way it took us. What are you trying to say there? Are you talking about, is this like a right-wing myth, or crazy free market, laissez-faire economists took us to the first? Oh, they took us to the Depression, and then we're doing it again. So it's like, we're doing the same things that caused the Great Depression, I think you're saying, in terms of, yeah, free market capitalism. Modi's Hindu nationalist, yeah. I wouldn't say, Kennedy, there's enough evidence that Tulsi's a fascist. I don't think I would believe that, because of her stance on a lot of, I guess, social issues. It isn't obviously lining up with fascism, but her foreign policy, I think everything that she believes is good, in terms of that, I would agree with, sort of ends with America and doesn't apply to the rest of the world. That's my main problem. What do I think of the Amber Geiger case? Yeah, that stuff is mental. I was thinking the title of my video about this. That guy who got shot in the mouth for being a witness, he was obviously killed by the police. What do people think in the comments? Let me know in the comments. That stuff is mental. And that other person who came forward getting like fired from her job from testifying against the police, it's crazy. I'm listening to has anyone watched Spider-Man 3? You know, when he's walking down the street, and then he starts dancing with the black suit. I'm listening to that James Brown song. It's actually, like, it makes me laugh, but like, it's actually a good song as well. Trump's legacy is dog shit. Okay, that's like a lion to me. Where did I go to uni? I went to University of Southampton for undergrad, and I did history, and then I went to Royal Holloway to do my master's in international relations. Are you thinking of going, or are you at uni? But generally, I had a good time. Royal Holloway was a lot easier. I found it a lot more relaxed. Also, the marking scheme in political science feels a lot more lenient, and also you don't have to do stupid... Can someone please tell me, I forget, what is the referencing where you just put it in the brackets in the text, and what is the referencing where you have to use the actual footnote program in Word? I hate the second one. The one you have to do for political science is so much nicer. Just put it in the brackets and then put a bibliography at the end. It's so much more casual. You can bang out an essay so much quicker. 17. Oh, you're 17. So happy birthday. You were 16 when you started watching me, I think. Most of the people were all for it, apart from my closest friends. Yeah, it's really hard to convince people at that age. You wouldn't be able to convince me. So you tweeted it was unfair to call women who wear shapewear anti-feminist, but wrong to portray shapewear itself as feminist, something like it. Is shapewear like that stuff Kim Kardashian pushes all the time? I'm sorry if I'm quite naive on it. Why were people saying it was anti-feminist? So Charles saying, the Great Depression didn't even occur in the UK. It mostly happened in the US, Germany, and France. What I mean, it occurred in the UK to an extent, but yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Obviously in Germany it was way worse. Sorry, did I miss someone's comment? You've had eye surgery, Adele. Why do you have eye surgery? HR is the first department cut. Wait, what are we talking about here? Harvard is brackets, I think. Oh, okay. Kennedy, I wrote all my essays and my final dissertation for my undergrad on my iPad. But the thing is, I didn't realise the word program on iPad is way worse at picking up grammatical mistakes and spelling mistakes. So sometimes I get feedback that my spelling was bad, or there's too many mistakes in it because I was using an iPad for the whole year, but then for the masters I actually use a computer, which is a lot better. Or I'd write it on my iPad because this this is the cover, and then I'd send it to myself to correct all the spelling. So Roger saying Tulsi supported Modi as a red line. Modi supported the Hindu rights in Gujarat. He at the very least was indifferent to the murder of Muslims. Even without that stuff, Roger, Modi is just an awful person, and his policies have obviously hurt Muslims, and it's obviously targeting Muslims. He said after 9/11 it's Islam planting its like awful flag in the world. He's saying all Muslims plant their flag in the world or something like that. So he's obviously an awful person in terms of the way he regards Muslim people, and that's obviously a problem when you're prime minister of a country of one of the largest Muslim populations in the world. There's 200 million Muslims, which is massive amount. What's it in the UK, like 3 million? So yeah, he's a fascist anyway, and that Gujarat stuff is something Tulsi defends, which is really, you know, awful. Harvard or APA referencing, okay. Harvard's brackets, okay. Evan saying, I write more essays on YouTube comments arguing than I do for school. I used to be like that, to be honest. When I was your age, I would just argue with people so much in YouTube comments. Nowadays, especially with my own YouTube, I maybe reply a couple times, but if someone writes me like, well, if someone writes me a long one and it's a nice comment, or it's like engaging with the video in a respectful way, then I'll reply. But if someone just writes me a massive rant, I just never, you know, I never really engage with it. I just leave it. Kenny saying, I think a lot of older feminists or feminists who consider themselves radical scorn other women, given into pressure to wear shapewear or makeup or heels, anything like that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen that, obviously. But it doesn't that go against it in terms of like you should be able to wear what you want. Yeah, my spelling is fine, but I don't know. I think I just typed too quick. Oh, you've seen Spider-Man 3. What do you think of the dancing scene? The best scene in history. Man, I love it so much. I watch it every day. No, not every day, but I watch it often enough. I was watching the scene when he's in the scene when he's in the bar doing the dance and playing the pianos and saying, now dig on this. I love it so much. So Evan saying, there seems to be a huge split in radical feminists for those who see pornography and sexualization of women as innately sexist. However, there are others who see the problem with mainly men and rape culture, and women should be free to act how they want. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. The thing of porn is actually super interesting. I was thinking of making a video on it because did anyone watch that Mia Khalifa interview when she was saying they made me wear a hijab doing porn, and I said this could get me killed and stuff by like Muslim extremists or Islamists, and they just laughed at her and didn't care, and she had to do it. And I think it's super interesting, the dynamic with porn, that it's obviously like liberating if you're in the mainstream porn. Obviously loads of pornography is really exploitative in terms of like women who are forced into doing it, and probably still are, but you know, it's a lot of these porn stars would defend it, some of the bigger names. But I think it's interesting how racist and sexist porn is versus obviously people think it's a force for good for desensitizing people, and people might point to a lot of these more conservative places, maybe some, you know, Islamist places like Iran and Saudi Arabia, saying, you know, the perception of men being animals, so women have to cover up their whole body, obviously stems from a culture that is super not open about these things. But then obviously, because porn's appealing to fantasies, it has all this crap, racist crap about, you know, mandingos for black men, or, you know, Arabs or Chinese, not Chinese, or Asian people. So yeah, it's actually really interesting. I was thinking about this a lot lately because I'm not a big watcher of it. Obviously, like everyone, probably will watch it sometimes, but the thing you always notice is just like how fucking awful some of these titles are. Like, obviously, it's a weird one, isn't it? It's like it's a very profitable industry, and it is regulated. I've watched documentaries about how well regulated it is in terms of the SDI stuff and these different things about payments. But at the same time, it is kind of like the Wild West in terms of what they get away with in terms of the titling. But yeah, it's interesting. Gabe Newell saying, have you seen Jimmy's interview with Ro Khanna trying to downplay Tulsi's criticisms with being very friendly to Modi? I haven't seen it. Who brings up the criticisms? Does Ro Khanna... Who, are they both on Tulsi's side? Fox of Fate saying, if Modi gets his way and gets rid of Muslims, he'll be next. Sikhs, Buddhists, the Jains, supremacists, like him ever stop? Yeah, my friend's Jain, and he's from I think he's from Gujarat as well. So same place as Modi and Gandhi. But yeah, you're right. It's like with Hitler, you know, obviously for him, you have the clear examples of who he doesn't like. So Jews, gypsies, black people, for example. But then you get the difference. You get Slavs as well. But Slavs, a lot of the time, Slavs look pretty similar to Germans, don't they? You couldn't really tell the difference. For example, I was watching an interview with Roman Polanski before he fled the United States, and he said when he left the ghetto, it wasn't Warsaw Ghetto, it was one of the other ones. He went and stayed with a German family, and obviously loads of German soldiers around. They obviously never knew he wasn't German, because there isn't really much different a lot of the times, because there's such a mixture of these different cultures that you can't really tell the difference. But then the Germans are like, yeah, Slavs, inferior, let's commit genocide against Slavs. And it's weird, where does it stop? I think it's a good one. And in something like Man in the High Castle, every PewDiePie fan's favourite show, when they go to America, the Germans think they're superior to the Americans. They're like, you can become part of the Third Reich, but you can't, you're not going to be like us. And if you want to be like us, you're going to have to adopt our culture. So yeah, I think that's a good point. Like, where would Modi really stop? He obviously wouldn't stop with just the Muslims. It's always going to be something. It's like when Indira Gandhi was assassinated by her Sikh bodyguards, but they basically let the mobs run rampant in Gujarat, killing all the Sikhs they wanted. So Michael's saying, it's not a big surprise Tulsi sees things as US first. Your YouTube video on US education plus the training in the armed services. Yeah, that is a good point, actually. Because she acts like she understands the military-industrial complex and stuff, which she does, but that doesn't mean she's not a patriot, because, you know, someone who serves in government and all these things, she has to at least pretend she's a patriot, but she might actually be one. And when you're a patriot, your idea of what America is, I guess, has to be it's less malleable than if you're not a patriot, I think. So when we learn about, Evan saying, when we learn about radical feminism and sociology, it literally kills all men. It's literally, oh, is that, oh, you're, okay, sorry, I thought you was in the class were all saying that. It's like kill all men, we have the technology to reproduce about men, so bye men. To be honest, as a man, and this will piss off a lot of men are absolute garbage in nearly every single way. And why I feel comfortable saying this is because I know personally I'm not garbage, and I would want other men to be better. Not saying I'm like some sort of pinnacle, but I know I'm not trash, and I know I'm not sexist, and I know I wouldn't ever make women feel uncomfortable. Like, if you ask any of my friends who are girls, the joke is a lot of the time I'm not even like a big hugger or anything. Do you know what I mean? And men who like abuse the hug to make girls feel really uncomfortable. A lot of, like, obviously a lot of men talk a lot of shit, but, you know, when I think about some of my friends at university, I don't even, because I wasn't a big drinker or clubber, I don't even want to think about the stuff they would get up to in a nightclub and shit. But it's so socially accepted. But yeah, men are trash. Obviously not, well, depending where you're coming from, kill all men. Maybe not kill men unless you want to kill the whole human race, but that makes it, you can have a good argument for that compared based on the way we treat fucking animals. So so going back, Yes, Kin. What do you think of the reference to that scene in the Spider-Verse? Thank you for asking. I fucking love it. Sorry, I'll answer. I'm gonna answer Kennedy's question while you guys can have a little look. Wait. Oh damn it! Wait. But Kennedy's saying a lot of it has to do with the desire to shrink the influence of advertisers on women's bodies, but at the same time, those women know how much advertising can fuck up your head. Yeah, advertising is brainwashing, isn't it? Essentially. That's me right now. That's me right now. Please tell me you've all seen this scene. Oh, that is me. I'd love to shoot you sometime. Alright, we're done with that, but please know I am listening to the song that's in that scene right now. But, yeah, I guess that's true though. Like, you don't want women to all buy into this culture just because advertising has told them to wear these certain things, but at the same time, yeah, free will and do what you want. So you watch the interview as well. So Kennedy also saying, at the same time, sex workers are workers, and so many feminists treat women who sell sex like they're just as bad as the industry that exploits them. Yeah, the thing is, it obviously needs more regulation to stop them being exploited. But if you just want to do that, it's fine. I know, like, older generations would be against it, but it's totally fine with me. It's a service that is actually obviously pretty popular. If you want to do it, then it's fine, but you just need better protection, I think. Please do a video on porn. What are the odds that that would get monetized? Like 0%? Porn under capitalism appeals to the worst part of society. Let's have Marxist porn. There is, it's not gender neutral porn, but the porn designed for women, someone was telling me about, and it seems more tasteful, because it focuses on the more romantic side. So Evan's saying it's a fucked industry, but it would be as fucked. But would it be as fucked if it was liberated and wasn't taboo? To be honest, I think it's not going to be as much of a taboo when we're the older generation, because if you go on Twitter, people are so fucking open about this stuff, especially the Mia Khalifa memes, which obviously I don't think are great, but like it's so casual, or the fake taxi memes. Yeah, so Ro Khanna's that congressman, isn't he? So yeah, I know about him, but I'm just asking what's his opinion on Tulsi. Ro Khanna brings up the criticisms. Okay, that's good. But yeah, Jimmy seems a bit blind on this. So does people like Kim Herverson. The thing, they're hypocrites because they always talk about influence, why journalists don't hold truth to power because it's all about access. So Anna Kasparian makes a video about Tulsi. Tulsi says to Cenk and TYT, I'll have an interview with you, but I don't want her there. Whereas Jimmy and Kim just promote her all the time and then downplay her flaws, and guess what? They get interviews. So I feel like they're pretty hypocritical and they're not consistent. Hi, Doug. Thanks for joining. Fran saying Nazis would kidnap Polish children who looked Aryan and give them to SS families. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So, yeah, Nazis hypocrites as well. It's like Goebbels was deformed, wasn't he? Like deformed foot or something. Gabe saying Dore does the lazy argument of saying, well, Obama and Trump were really nice to Modi, so it's all good for Tulsi to be too. That's essentially just his argument. Yeah, I said, well, that's such a problem. Imagine if Bernie was best mates with Netanyahu. Come on. Let's keep it real. Everyone would have a problem with that, and they should. So I just think people don't understand India enough, and I've talked about this too much, so I'm not going to start talking about it again, but yeah. Men be like, men are trash, and women be like, we know. Yeah, well, it's true. And the thing is, men in the West are garbage, but, you know, in a lot of these countries, you can't even have the Me Too movement. It's messed up. And cause I saw that China was having one, and it got really suppressed by the government, and Japan as well. So yes, obviously, there's some stories you can read about these countries that are way more authoritarian or conservative, It's so much more casual. My friend is from Egypt, and she said she was sexually assaulted, and then the police just wouldn't take it seriously because they said she was wearing like leggings, so she was asking for it essentially. It's so fucked up. Because in a lot of these countries, they don't really have a concept of these things. This is what peak male performance looks like. Yes, exactly. And what I love now, people in terms of Spider-Man, they go to the spot where Toby's doing that down the street, and they're doing it now as well. You can find it on YouTube. It's so fucking good. Did my uni have much of a lad culture? Southampton definitely did. Southampton's like a really big uni, so loads of sports teams, big sports nights on a Wednesday, loads of clubs. So yeah, but I was in one football team. I went out once with them and never went out with them again. I was in a rugby team as well, but it was mixed rugby team. It was tag rugby, touch rugby. So yeah, it was quite bad in Southampton, and then they exposed the cricket team for having like a WhatsApp group where they'd get nudes of the girl. So it was a general cricket team, and the men's cricket team would get nudes from the girls' cricket team, and they'd all share it on a WhatsApp group, and it got exposed, and they had to like really. I think loads of people got kicked out and stuff. So yeah, it was pretty crap at Southampton. Royal Holloway, because I lived at home and drove there. I don't really know about the culture as much. It seemed a bit better though. You better get money for sharing that ad. Oh yeah, I shared the ad before the video. So hi Antilles. So Antilles saying Philosophy Tube is a fantastic video on sex workers' rights. Oh, okay, interesting. So I wouldn't be the first. I'm friends with lots of sex workers online. Sorry, it's definitely more normalised. Yeah, I think it will be in the future, definitely. Isn't cartoon porn the most ethical? Just letting you know, I don't watch that category. I think the problem with cartoon porn is a lot of it can be bordering on paedophilia, because what's that thing? It's like everything you know, no matter what, there's a porno of it. So I don't want to start talking about stuff, but obviously a lot of these cartoons feature children. So okay, for example, I was playing Crash Bandicoot, for example, and there's characters in there that are generally children, and I'm pretty sure someone has drawn a porno of the Crash characters. You know what I mean? And is that paedophilic? And then I guess if there's humanoid characters, like what's a thing with children, like a game of children? I don't know, Persona 5 or something, where they're all like 14 or something. Is it Rule 33? Is that what it is? Rule 33 is like, no matter what you like, there's a porno of it online. Do a video on Ayn Rand. She found that's not a bad idea, actually. She's an old dead bitch. Yeah, she was fucking mental. I did one before, but it was mainly criticising someone. Someone for MSNBC who claims to be like this liberal person, who posted an Instagram of her sitting down reading Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged, and was like, "It's one of my favourite books. It explains what's going on in Venezuela perfectly because she's Venezuelan." And I was like, you do know that book you're reading is like the ideology that Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, and Donald Trump all follow. It's like this brutal capitalist ideology. I don't know why you're saying how great a book it is. And then she backpedaled. She's like, I read everything. It was like some Instagram beef we had. Red Leader Antilles, speaking of people being lenient on judging social problems in India, what do you think about that in Japan? I see so many people, even progressive, write off their serious problems that are out there, are fear of coming off as biased to their culture. I think the thing with Japan is that we have this. So I think what people think is that the old conservative Japan sort of died with the Second World War, and what happened afterwards is like, you know, all the cutesy stuff from Japan, video games and anime and I don't know, all this cool cultural things. Aren't the Japanese so respectful the way they clean up all their rubbish at the World Cup and stuff? And I think that's a really positive image Japan have put on the world stage, but I think it covers up so many problems. For example, workplace suicide, the capitalist culture in Japan, get fired for being like 5 minutes late once and stuff. Then the right wing in Japan is awful as well. Not surprising. Shinzo Abe is a conservative. He's the leader of Japan at the moment. And every year until 2017, they're visiting the, is it Yakuni or Yakushruni? I forget. Yakuni. I don't know. It's this war shrine in Tokyo, and it's got many war criminals enshrined in it, and they visit that every year, including people who perpetrated the Nanking massacre, or the rape in Nanking. And then they still have bad relationships with Korea, South Korea, and China because of comfort girls, because of the rape in Nanking. And a lot of people on the right wing, they deny this even happened. And like we spoke about before, the big problem in Japan is that they don't actually really accept responsibility for World War II because of what happened after the war. Is America designed their constitution, they became friends of Chiang Kai-shek's China, sort of mended their relationships without really reconciling with what they'd done. And then the emperor stayed in power till 1980 something. So it just kind of overall, it didn't really have a hard look at itself. So yeah, Japan's got its same problems, and obviously Japan has real problems with racism, but because it's fairly homogenous, it doesn't really manifest itself. But they're super racist towards like Muslim groups, and I'm sure if it became more diverse, let's say when climate change starts sinking all these islands around Japan, and they have to accept more climate refugees, maybe you'll see how Japan reacts to that. So yeah, interesting though. I think the problem that you're bringing up is interesting in terms of you don't want to come across, because white supremacists are like the West, and people like Ben Shapiro is like Judeo-Christian culture, isn't it so superior, so enlightened? We're based on the Greeks, we're based on Christianity, that's why we're the best, for example. And I get what you're saying. It's you got to be careful not to come across as we are better than you for having this. And obviously, it also ignores a lot of the philosophical teachings and historical legacy of many of these regions. Like, for example, human rights was first invented by Cyrus the Great in Babylon, for example. That's the first instance of human rights. He put up this cylinder that basically said, no matter what religion you are, you all have rights in Babylon. And that's the first example of general human rights in history, of the first recorded one. So it's not something generally known. We prefer to say that the US invented human rights with the Constitution and Declaration of Independence. And obviously you have everything in India and China, Confucius, who's it, Ahsoka, and all these different groups. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't think you should be scared to criticize these cultures that have awful parts of them, especially things like India. So Jules Black saying, oh hi Jules, saying once again you're streaming while I'm playing Dark Souls. I love it. Dark Souls. The only one I played is 2. I got far enough, but these games are so hard because I really like the style, and I always want to buy them. But then I'm just like, it's not worth the money because I'm gonna play for like 5 hours and get really frustrated and never play it again because like it's just way too hard. I just don't have the patience. I don't think, which is sad because I do actually like the gameplay. What's rule 33? The underlying horror of the internet. Michael saying lots of near paedophilic content in manga. Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is as well, Japan's age of consent is 14, so that's why they get away with putting all these like schoolgirls in manga and stuff. I don't know if you've seen Kill Bill. They have that bar where you go pick up schoolgirls or whatever, and in Kill Bill, the schoolgirl cuts his balls off. But so Kafka Trap saying, what kind of migraine do you suffer from? Just the normal ones or aura kind? Well, I think I had migraine with aura, and I had a really bad one. It's not totally gone. Like my hand is pretty tingly and numb. I have a twitch like there, but it's gotten way better the last couple of days. I had aura really bad about 3 weeks ago, but that's the only time I've had it. My main symptoms have been just really bad fatigue. Because I had a job interview on Tuesday, and I slept for like 10 hours, and I woke up feeling like absolute shit. Like I was so exhausted, but I felt generally better. Like on on Wednesday I had football on Wednesday I had football training, and we're playing a match at the end, and it was neon yellow bibs versus neon orange. I'm already colorblind, so this isn't great. And then the floodlights were so bright in my eyes, and I could not see anything. My vision was just like blurry. And then on Saturday I had a football match, and at one point, because I don't know, I think I was just getting overheated, and then the ball was smashed at me, and I was just like, my vision, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, and I controlled it so bad. But it's getting a bit lot better since, I think on Saturday night, or last night I stuck these on. So because I sit in front of a screen for a lot of my day, in terms of if I'm doing weights in my room, I'm watching TV. At night, after I've recorded a video, I'm editing a video, or I'm playing video games if I'm relaxing, or I'm on my phone. So it does make sense why it could happen. So Lee saying, I'm late to the party. I just spent an hour correcting mouthy nonsense writers on a card's latest channel for a laugh. What video has he put out? Is it true there's a lot of inbred farmers in Norfolk? I don't know. I've only been to Norfolk once, like 10 years ago. I didn't have the pleasure of me doing a survey of all their inbred farmers. Kennedy's saying I'm side-eyeing Japan, at least the right wing there. Japan has a lot of great things, and the history is super interesting. But yeah, I think people should be more wary of it, and especially the militarization of Japan. Like, they want to get rid of, is it Article 8 of the Constitution, which bans the military? So they're using the excuse of North Korea to militarize Japan a bit more. What do I think about the news that Sargon of Akkad is a paedophile? When was this? Is this like general knowledge and allegations, or is this breaking news? Do we trust China for its 2 centenaries plan? What's the 2 centenaries plan? I haven't heard of this, which is bad of me since I've actually studied China, but. So Stacey saying, I lived in Japan for a few years. They're racist against anyone not Japanese, but they're polite about it. How was it though? That's super interesting. Because it's funny, I love Japanese stuff because of Blade Runner. But Blade Runner uses Japanese stuff because of the like sort of racist fear in the 1980s that Japan was going to take over the world. But I guess it's a positive because I love all that like art style and the cultural stuff. Man, I love Blade Runner so much. I don't know. I'm definitely making a video next month for Blade Runner month because it's the month and year that Blade Runner 1 was set in. But I'm trying to think about what to talk about. Maybe just how accurate it was. So Korea, Japan, and China have lots of racist jokes about each other. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But is it Han Chinese? Probably. The history of China and Japan is so interesting. So I was reading this book. There's a podcast called The History of China, which I used to listen to back in first year of uni. It's still going because obviously the Chinese history is massive. But what was super interesting is that like, I don't know if it's like 1,000 years BCE, but Chinese and Japanese people are related in terms of they're from sort of the same race. Obviously not anymore, but it started that way. But what happened is people moved to Japan and then they lost contact for like thousands of years. And then one time they sent like an envoy from Japan to China and then they restored relations. I find that so interesting. Like, they're right next to each other, but they lost contact for years. And obviously China as a nation, as a concept as well, has existed for thousands of years. So it's like official China losing contact with them, but I find that stuff super interesting. There's so many cool stories like that with history stuff. Ken saying, this is replying to a topic like 2 topics ago, but growing up in a conservative Muslim country, I remember one of my teachers in grade school telling us a story about a heroic man who was harassing a woman because she was dressed in that way and asked for it. Yeah, it's sickening. To be honest, I that way of thinking is obviously more prevalent in conservative cultures, but it's obviously an issue still here in the West or the UK. People say that shit all the time, don't they? So it's obviously a ridiculous mindset that men are animals and can't control themselves, especially from people like Jordan Peterson, whose whole fucking thing is about personal accountability, then goes on and says, the problem with sexual assault and harassment in the workplace is women wearing makeup and high heels, because men are obviously animals who can't control themselves, so it's bullshit. Oh, okay, thanks, Lee. Cyrus was Persian. Hammurabi was Babylon. Okay, thank you for correcting me. Cyrus the Great was Persian. Real visionaries for the future society, how I could use them on today. I'm playing Assassin's Creed at the moment, Odyssey, and I'm reading my little book about ancient Greece. It's actually depressing. Not saying they were great for everything, but it's actually depressing reading about ancient Greece and even Rome to a lesser extent. Seeing how modern they were, like how much we are still very much like them, and then seeing how backwards the fucking world became thanks to Christianity, Islam, mainly just them two, because Judaism didn't have as much of a reach. It's actually so shit. It's like these people literally destroyed such a modern and impressive culture. But also, what I always have to troll the white supremacists with is like, thank the Arab Muslims for preserving loads of this Greek knowledge, because it's them who translated it after it was lost to the Western countries. So the only reason we found out about it again is because of the cultural exchange in Iberia between the Muslims and Christians, where I think I read this story, this monk went over there and this monk could speak and read Arabic, and he just translated loads of Aristotle, because the Muslims had it in their library, but the Christians didn't have it. Obviously they knew about it, but they didn't have the actual text. So I always love saying that to white supremacists who talk about how superior Christians are to Muslims. 2 words: humanity is depravity. That is the truth. Yeah, with Rule 33 we definitely are. Evan saying, I started watching the hilarious Karl Marx anime made in China. Oh shit, my headphones. Yeah, I seen that on Twitter. It's so fucking weird. Sorry, my headphone came out. It's like he's a young man in it for most of it. He's a young man for all of it. It's hilariously bad. It featured the first International and the back, and then Marx split. It was so Maoist and silly. Anime is actually so dumb. Like, I know you shouldn't make fun of people for their interests, but I love dunking on people who like anime because it's just so fucking ridiculous. There is some good... The only good anime I've ever watched is the short film they made for Blade Runner 2049 from the guy who made Cowboy Bebop or Beatbop or whatever the hell it's called, which was inspired by Blade Runner anyway. But when I watch Pokemon, like when Misty gets angry and she like jumps and it's like a massive blue light behind her, it's so fucking stupid. I don't mind making fun of anime fans. But at the end of the day, like what you want. Kafka Trap saying, migraines fucked me up permanently, got visual snow after really bad migraine with aura. What's visual snow? I was concerned like it properly damaged my vision forever. I think it might have in my right eye, but I feel okay. I'm going for an eye test on Tuesday, so we'll see if it's actually done any damage. Premenstrual queer stress? What are you talking about? Me? Oh, okay, sorry. There's a comment above it. Do you have the time to make a video on the PMQs? Do you mean like general PMQs or the ones coming up? Hi Jose, I was talking about you actually. I was talking about our conversation on Twitter. The Norfolk question cracked me up. People were mad because you criticised Dore. There are other issues, but you never responded, so don't dismiss these issues. Like, that's pretty dishonest. I pretty much responded to everything, I feel like. Since Matt's called me out, since Matt hates me, we'll have a look. Alright, so I'll see what... okay, I'm going to find your criticism, Matt. I'm going to read it out. And then we'll go through it. I find it's easier to talk about these things. So what did you respond to? I forget what the comment was. Alright. I'll go for the original one. So Matt said in the video, on my Jimmy Dore one, bro, this is so disappointing. You should check your sources. How'd you get this article in the first place? Ben Norton destroyed this guy on Twitter. I think somebody is using you. You should really do more research next time. It's a hit piece from the site sponsored by the National Endowment for Democracy. I'm glad Dore got some cash. Okay, that's your general argument, is that you think that the site that published this article on Jimmy Dore and Kim Everson, because of its funding and who it's sponsored by, that I should just discredit it. But the difference is, if it's just a hit piece with no evidence, I would take your point. But the problem is, when the actual article has IRS filings showing that Jimmy Dore took money from this group and Kim Everson, and it reports accurately, like I checked what this group is, it reports accurately what the Syria Solidarity Movement is, no matter what outlet is saying it, if it reports the facts in certain ways accurately, I don't mind using that source. So, for example, if Fox News ran this article, but then it said leftist YouTubers accepting money from Assad lobby group, and then had the IRS filings of Jimmy Dore and Kim Everson taking this money, and then just outlined what this group was, what am I going to say? It's Fox News, so I can't trust it. Well, if they've done a good article, I've got to trust what they said if they've got the evidence. So that I don't understand how someone is using me. It doesn't matter where this source is from if they can provide decent evidence like that. It's like if I wrote an article right now exposing someone, right? All I have is my WordPress blog, and you could say, who is this random guy with a WordPress blog? That's not a good source. But if I have the evidence, then it's evidence, isn't it? It doesn't matter that I wrote on my WordPress blog and I'm a nobody. If I have the evidence, that makes it factually correct. So yeah, if it's a shitty source, I don't think it really matters in this case because they have the evidence. Was thinking about getting one of those anti-migraine glasses myself. It means you have to look like Woody Harrelson in Natural Born Killers. So here are mine. These are a crap pair I bought on Amazon. These are ugly as fuck, but I'm gonna buy a nice pair. Sorry, I'm using my phone to stream, so I can't show you. But I found a really nice pair online. So I got these crap ones. So yeah, they're ugly and big, but they actually are really good. So I'd recommend them. And then I just wear these if I want to look like I have some swag. But yeah, there are some nice ones to look out for. So I would recommend it. And then you can always just wear some crappy sunglasses as well. Wait, who are looking? The police in Swinton are looking for who? Wait, just gonna reply to Matt quick. My criticism was not about Dore. It smears the whole anti-war press. What the article does, you mean? But you were saying to me... You were saying it... What, you're saying it based on everything I was saying? Alright, I'm going to look through the other comments. My main point is, Jimmy Dore and Kim Everson shouldn't take money from a foreign government. There you go. Because if you're a journalist, you want to be impartial, you don't take money from the government like that. Anime is bad. Any anime, most animes. So the 2 centenaries plan is get China out of poverty, social revolution by 2050. Okay, I haven't seen that actually before, which is bad of me. What do I think of it? It sounds good, but China is not socialist, and I doubt it's going to be socialist. If this is the government saying it. Marxist Zionist 2050. Okay. Chol, what the fuck are you on about? Chol says Essex girls applies to a female viewed as promiscuous and unintelligent cat. What the hell are you talking about? Michael can't stand to look at Sargon's vids. He's smarmy, misleads for admission of facts, and he's got a face I just want to punch. I was watching him on Kevin Logan, and he was literally trying to downplay the Holocaust. It sounded like Holocaust denial. He was saying the number of Jews killed is like greatly overestimated or something. Kenji saying most anime these days is mostly the same hero, shit, same guy in anime who is liked by an anime schoolgirl. I saw that racist anime stuff online. It was like they all got blackface on and saying they wanted to be like black women. It was really, obviously, really fucking racist. The Mysterious Cities of Gold. What was that about? Okay, so they want to by the first 100-year anniversary, they want to be a strong, democratic, civilized, harmonious, and modern socialist country. Well, I doubt that's going to happen, ever, unless they get rid of the Communist Party. The latest episode of Kennedy's podcast is hanging out with Kentucky Fried Comrade and making fun of Peterson for going into rehab. Yeah, I'm not one of those people who thinks you should feel bad for Jordan Peterson, because there's fucking billions of people in the world who are going through shit like that, and he's obviously directed a lot of this anger and he's made society worse as a whole. So I don't really give a shit. Can you explain how Japan became an ally of Hitler? Sorry, I can't really explain that. I apologize. Obviously, it's sort of like a militaristic and natural alliance, but that's probably a blind spot for me in my knowledge of World War II. I don't know like how they reached out to each other. Interesting fact though, during the rape of Nanking, the Nazi German embassy took in loads of Chinese civilians and hid them from the Japanese, and said the Japanese weren't allowed to come in, so they didn't, because they had some sort of an alliance. And there's a film about Steve Buscemi. He's basically called like ironically the Nazi Schindler, like an actual Nazi. And what happened to the guy? I forgot his name. What happened to the guy who went to Germany is they kicked him out of the Nazi party, made him basically homeless and destitute, and he died shortly after the war. But what has happened is that the citizens of Nanking raised loads of money for his funeral, and then a couple of years later they paid for his body to be moved to Nanking, and they have a really nice grave there for him now. It's a super interesting story. When I found it out, I thought it was amazing. But yeah, sorry, I don't know about the process of how Japan became an ally of Hitler. But they're so... Odyssey... Wait. Oh shit, I'm so far behind the chat. I apologise. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is so good. Yeah, I really like it. I've been playing the Underworld DLC, and it's so cool seeing the characters you've killed in the game in the Underworld, but also seeing some of your friends again who died. So Phoebe and Brasidas. The Brasidas quest fucked me up though, but the Phoebe one was really, really good. I love Alexios and Phoebe. It's such a good relationship. Sorry, sorry, shit. I'm really far behind. I'm just trying to wade through it. Even rich. Didn't Christians burn the writings of ancient Greece, or because it went against their religion? I think so. If you're talking about the sacking of like the Library of Alexandria, that's probably the best example. Hopefully not permanently damage eyesight. I hope so. My eyesight's good, apart from I'm colourblind, but my eyesight's actually good. You hate me. Matt hates me. Oh shit, wait. Kennedy's podcast, one sec. I'll link it because I don't have any mods. And it might just go in the spam. Has anyone seen Joker yet? Just while I'm looking at this, I'll get back for the comments. I want to see Ad Astra first. Shit. Gotta go on my profile. Kennedy, you change your name so much on Twitter. When I try and find it, I type in like Kennedy, and then it's like can't find it because you change it's like weird stuff all the time. Wait. There we go. I found it. Alright, I'm getting it. Here we go, boys. So check this out. Oh, nice. Your Patreon's gone up. There we go. Sorry, get back to the comments. Where was I? My criticism was not about Dore. The article smears the whole anti-war press. Lee saying good rule of thumb, judge on facts and logic. Even if the words of someone you dislike and disagree with, they can have some truth in them. If it's backed up with proof, yeah, I agree with that. Send a link for the stanky leg tutorial. Just type in stanky leg on YouTube and you'll get it. I'm a weeb Cavanacle. I'm not a weeb. I do like that Japanese stuff. I'm just not as big on it as most people. Carl Benjamin is a fascist. Yeah, I'd say so. So Matt saying article was written by a guy taking money from the CIA. Article Smith. If you're talking about that, he's saying, for example, these are all conspiracy theories with no I don't know, no evidence or anything, or that Kim Irvinson saying about the petrodollar, and Tsunami saying is conspiracy theories. I get that in general. But the general point, I was just reading out the article for one, but the general point is that these people take funding from these groups. I don't think most people are taken away, oh, this article is such a hit job. I need my wrench. If I ever get bigger, if I get 10k subs one day, the people in the chat now I'll consider making mods, and because Kennedy's got experience, you can go right at the top. But not at the moment. I just want 7k by Christmas. I need 180 more subs. I probably lost some subs by streaming, but we'll see. I'd love 10k by the end of the year, but gotta be realistic. Because I've got 800 subs in the last 4 months, so not looking likely that I'll get another 2,000 or 3,000. I mean, Ptolemy's great library. What wealth of ancient knowledge was destroyed. It's fun to visit the library in Assassin's Creed Origins. You see everyone studying like Pythagoras and stuff. But yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's sad. You know what was lost in that, or probably what was lost, because most of the history books about Alexander the Great were burnt in the library. So so what's interesting about history sometimes, of course you don't have the real sources, but you have books that are written later on that reference the other sources. So if you look at the history of Alexander the Great, for example, the only histories you have left these days are stuff that was written hundreds of years later, but because they reference the stuff that was written during his lifetime, you know it's legit. And that's a big argument about Jesus Christ, is like all this history was written so long later, but it doesn't even reference anything contemporaries. So it's hard to really know if it's real. Have I not seen Joker yet? No, I haven't seen Joker. Okay, you get deleted all the time, all right. Antilles saying the Library of Alexandria was sacked by Caesar. No, it was burnt down, like properly destroyed, not Caesar. You do that in Assassin's Creed Origins. You like run a chariot through Alexandria. I'm afraid to go see in case of the shootings. Man, gamers are so oppressed. We can't even see Joker without getting our bag searched. Yeah, HK. That's what I was reading. That Joker is literally like just Taxi Driver. Like not even a subtle homage to it. Literally just Taxi Driver. Do I ever come to Bristol? I've never been to Bristol actually. What's in Bristol? It's nice. Brentford played Bristol the other day. Bristol was nice, been there loads, okay. So Lee saying, I'd be happy with 7k by Christmas, I'd clear my debts. Well, 7k in spare change would be nice, but subs, I mean. Yeah, Kennedy, you might as well upload it to YouTube. It's always good to expand Because what are you on at the moment? Are you just on SoundCloud? Because I don't really use SoundCloud. I do use it for some like YouTube covers of songs that I don't have, but I rarely go on it. I actually listen to most of my podcasts on YouTube, to be honest. Yeah, Josephus is our only contemporary source on Jesus. Well, there's a couple in terms of Josephus, which is way later. Because what's Josephus? Like, he wrote about the temple being burnt down, what's that, 70 AD? And he was Roman as well. But he's just referencing what he heard. Who's the other one? Josephus, Tacitus is later as well. And then you have people say Paul's letters are secular evidence, but I don't believe that when he's a disciple. It's interesting. I've had this debate before. If you ever want to see some delusion, go on Reddit and go on the religious Reddits subreddits. It's actually so depressing. Kennedy, you want to leave America so bad. I don't blame you. I'd never want to live there. I'd want to go just to experience the craziness of like the food and some of the locations, but that's about it. Are we talking about Leah? You talking about Joker of Chinese Whispers? Oh no, or are we talking about Jesus? Or are we talking about the library? SoundCloud. Okay, you're on Apple Podcasts. That's good then. Paul in Dorset is something I can speak about with authority. Is Paul near Bournemouth, or is that wrong? Oh, Paul was the most biased take on things. Whoever wrote it was trying to distance themselves from the Jews post-Jewish rebellion, for instance. What I find interesting about the Josephus stuff is, wait, what was Jesus? He was like this Jew, this faction of Jews, that were fighting among themselves when the temple was burning down. What are they called? I'm trying to think. What's a really famous faction of Jews during the time? There's this faction that Jesus was a member of, and I think Josephus is trying to smear them in his writings, because obviously Josephus writes the history of the sacking of the temple when he becomes a Roman citizen, and the way he writes the book is so funny, acting like the Romans didn't want to burn it down, or Tacitus didn't want to burn it down. Is it Tacitus? I think it's Tacitus who's leading the sacking. John Rabe was the good Nazi. Is that the Rape and Nanking one I was talking about? Pretty sure you'd be sick immediately if you consume food here. Oh, who's watching Mr. Robot tonight? The start of the final season. I know Jose watches it. I think that's the only person. Jose and there's one other person who watches it. But yeah, I'm hyped. Closest but most BS on some levels, yeah. Paul was near Bournemouth, opposite Swanage. All these English places. Oh, Lee, you'll like this. I was watching a podcast, and because you know, obviously there's loads of places in America that are named after England, so like Gloucester. Someone said that Worcester should be called Worcester, and they were saying like, come on. They're saying, oh, no, come on, it's not Worcester, it's Worcester. It's like when who was saying it? I think I was watching Taylor Lautner with who's the guy who plays Mr. Gilbert in Inbetweeners, because they're in that Cuckoo series, and he's calling Leicester Leicester. Okay, so it's on YouTube about John Rabe, the good Nazi. Okay, thanks for clearing that up. I didn't know his name exactly. Swanage is sweet but small. It sounds shit. The Sicarii were based. The Sicarii. Is that the Jewish assassins or something? There's another faction that Jesus is a member of, and I always thought it was interesting. Like, did this faction like break off from the Jews and like make Jesus like this figure? What faction of the Jews was Jesus? fuck's sake, it's not very clear. I forgot what it's called, but it's super famous. And it's like, if I say the word, you'll know it immediately. I'm just trying to find out what it's called, though. The Pharisees? Is that what I'm looking for? Pharisees? So is Pharisees is it a faction of Jews? So the Pharisees was a social movement and school of thought in the Holy Land. Sorry, I'm trying to find out what Pharisees is. Do they believe in Jesus or do they not believe in Jesus? Not believe in Jesus. Was Jesus one of them or was he not? It was. Okay, it's too complicated. Okay, there's a group called the Pharisees and a group called the Sadducees, Sadducees, and one's for Hellenization and one's against it. Okay, I had some theory about the civil war with the Jews and maybe some breaking off and helping with Christianity, but oh well. I need to reread some of this stuff. Gonna watch it tomorrow. I'm gonna try and stay up and watch it tonight if it comes out in time. I never watch TV. It's so hard to get into anything anymore. I find it hard to get into new things. I just keep rewatching the same stuff. So like, I finished Peaky Blinders season 5, and now I've started the whole show again, and I'm nearly finished season 2. And then Man the High Castle and The Crown come out next month. And until then, I might rewatch. I might try and finish The Americans. Have I seen the map release about the murder of the Scottish witches? No. What's this related to? I still call it Worcestershire. Okay, I thought you were agreeing with him. Mo Leicester, Mo problems. It's like Joe Rogan supported Leicester City when they won the league. So Antilles saying, like, I think it's the Galilean cause. Jesus was one, and then the Idumeans kept fighting Rome after everyone gave up. Okay. Pharisees are a rank, I think. Well, I'm not even sure. Smash that like button. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Kennedy's telling you to, but you've done it anyway. You've done me proud. He had serious beef with the Pharisees. Okay. I did a module of Bible and history, and that's when we did Josephus. We also did the Book of Daniel, which is mental, and so is every other apocalypse book in the Bible. I wasn't born to be smart. I was born to be funny and to be dumb enough to be endearing, but not enough to be annoying. That sounds pretty good. But you are smart, though. That's the problem. You couldn't be blissfully ignorant if you wanted to, could you? So, but that's what was so good about quitting Twitter when I was on holiday, just being ignorant of all this shit. I don't go on it as much anymore, which is good. The Sadducees pronounce Sadducees. Okay, thank you. Downton Abbey movie is out. Who watches Downton Abbey? What do you think of it? It seems like trash. Oh, the Surfs here. Hi, Surfs. This is the Matrix Reloaded. So I've had 2 Matrix comments and only 1 Daredevil comment. So I'm disappointed because I look more like the Daredevils. Hey, the Surfs were on Vosh. Is it Vaush or Vosh? I don't know what he calls himself. I was watching that today. He has a crazy amount of people watching him. He had like 2,000 people watching him on YouTube, and he doesn't even read the YouTube comments. Vaush, is that how you say it? Vaush. But then he has loads of people. He has it all connected. It's quite impressive. Respect to the Surfs and Vaush and maybe even Destiny, because streaming is actually so taxing. Like, I could not do that as much as these guys do it. Yeah, I need to read more on it. I need to refresh my mind. Did I watch The Great Hack? No, I haven't watched The Great Hack. My brother was telling me about it, though. It's about the Cambridge Analytica shit. It's so fucking shady. It's actually crazy that this can happen. There's no accountability. It's why we don't actually have a democracy, because all this crap just makes it impossible. Because isn't democracy meant to be, you have candidates putting forward their ideas for the best policies to help everyone, and then you rank them on what's best. But just all this insidious shit just ruins it. Well, and then most of us would say it's just capitalism not being compatible with real democracy. I was randomly reading about the historicity. Oh, sorry, I hate words like this. I'm not going to say it. Of Daniel the other night. No idea how I got that on Wikipedia. Well, the Book of Daniel is just... Wait, the Book of Daniel is the one... What's the one when they say they wrote it in Babylon and they had all these visions and they came back to Judea? Who am I thinking of? Is that Daniel? More women were accused of and killed of witchcraft in Scotland than anywhere else, has a serious effect on women. What, today? You talking about today? Downton Abbey versus The Matrix, I might watch that if it existed. Valsh's chat is trash. Fuck Downton Abbey. Yeah, it sounds just like glorifying the aristocracy. That's why I don't like it. It's kind of like something for the people who love the royal family in the UK. Sounds so... No, an American would say... Vosh. He accidentally flashed his balls in one sheet. Matt, fuck off, mate. What do I think about Cap? Basically, Surfs, you're still here. If you saw that Jimmy Dore and Kim Irvinson stuff taking money from the pro-Assad lobby, Matt has a problem with the article I used, despite it having literally IRS filings in it, because it's had some language in it that painted them as conspiracy theorists. It seems like you're getting a bit too worked up about it, Matt. The main point of the article was it proved that they were taking money from the pro-Assad lobby, and it painted out what the Syria solidarity movement was. And I was totally fair to Jimmy Dore and Kim because I even defended them slightly. Okay, Daniel was kidnapped and taken to Babylon and freed by Cyrus. Oh, okay, but Daniel's in the Christian. It's in the New Testament, isn't it? I don't remember. I think Daniel's New Testament. There's other ones about the apocalypse in the other one. Bausch. I love the monarchy. Michael, do you actually love the monarchy? I like the history. Like, I like watching The Crown. I don't actually like the monarchy, and the idea of the monarchy is pretty disgusting in terms of they believe they're chosen by made-up God to rule over everyone else. Yeah, the shit they did for Brexit is crazy, and I was explaining it to my mum, and I was like, you would definitely, if you had Facebook, you're definitely the person they would target. I haven't had a TV since 2008. Do you just watch stuff from the computer then? Matt, how is it dishonest? What is dishonest about someone literally having all these receipts in the article and then explaining what the Syria solidarity movement is? Although they obviously don't like Jimmy Dore and Kim Irvinson. I don't think that's even relevant to the article. What's Over the Garden Wall? Is it the only show you watch? You don't watch anything else? I mostly disliked Tulsi Gabbard because of her stance on Kashmir and her ties to the RSS. Yeah, exactly. That's my problem as well. Daniel is Old Testament. He's mentioned by Jesus. The dude loved his name drops. He retconned him as a prophet, which Jews I don't agree with. Oh, okay. What was I say? It probably wasn't Jesus who actually said it, though. Do you know what I mean? Because the Bible was written so long after Jesus died. You respect it more when it does Parliament. Nah, no way. The monarchy, for me, I've made a video about the whole monarchy stuff, but you know, the wealth they have is literally inherited from the British Empire, which is built on like genocide, African slavery, taking over all these countries, and then the legacy of the empire is awful. Think of all the problems in the world today, like the big international relations type ones, like Israel, Palestine, Syria, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Loads of stuff like that. It's all tied to European colonialism, and the British Empire ultimately was backed by Queen Victoria, the first Queen Elizabeth, when she helped set up the East India Company in 1600. So yeah, I don't like the idea of a bunch of people who've gained all their wealth from crushing poor people in this country and around the world, believing they've been chosen by a mythical god to rule over everyone else because somehow they're better than everyone. So that's my problem with the monarchy. And of course, when we're having like austerity policies in this country, while they have all this money, doesn't seem right. So yeah, get rid of it. Get rid of it now. And also the Queen, right? She just went along with Boris Johnson's decision to suspend Parliament, but she's acting like she had to, and it's not a political choice. Kennedy's saying Over the Garden Wall is a mini-series that came out a few years ago on Cartoon Network. It's gorgeous. I'm going to get a picture up. Oh, okay, this is like Rayman Origins or Rayman Legends. Is it a comedy? It looks like it looks a bit serious in terms of like maybe it's adventure stuff. So you just watch that from the computer. When my eldest daughter was studying, we just stopped watching telly. Yeah, I don't actually watch telly unless I'm watching football or some other sports. Yeah, Jesus and Jesus are two different people. Jesus says whatever the writer thought. Well, it's funny because all the Gospels are literally based. What is it? Is it Luke or Mark is the original, and then every other one is literally just based on that, written afterwards. Kim Everson is dodgy. Yeah, I know she is. Kim Everson's left Twitter, I'm pretty sure. It's funny though because she was getting dunked on like 24/7 by everyone. It was funny. She like had to keep changing the bot that deleted her tweets. Wait. Seems like she's gone. Yeah. She's actually left Twitter. Finally. Alright. Feel like pure shit, but not gonna lie, she was pure filth. Does anyone know the meme I'm talking about? Please tell me you do. Wait, is Mr. Robot on now? Oh, Mr. Robot's on in an hour. I gotta get off Twitter. Sorry, I just missed some comments. Jesus was a white Republican. It's so crazy that the guy who said to a rich man, if you don't give away all your money, you're not getting to heaven, they think that Donald Trump has been sent by God to help them. Because that sounds like, what Jesus would want. What happens when the Queen dies? I think we were talking about this before. They'd be smart to make William the king next because he's a lot more popular than Charles, I reckon. But I don't think it will end. I want it to, but it won't. Jesus had 2 dads. I should watch it if I like Halloween type shit. Maybe I'll watch it on Halloween if I'm not playing like Resident Evil to fucking scare myself. Yeah, Duma saying if I was living in the UK, I would advocate for its complete dissolution. Yeah, I would too. If I'm ever in politics, I definitely will. Liverpool was a slave port. Yeah, major slave port. There's plenty of rich people with the sets. Yeah, but Michael, don't you have a problem with these particular set of rich people having access having a say in our politics, meeting with the Prime Minister every single week. That's what I have a massive problem with, just because of the family they're from and what that family has been built on. France is the best royal family. Love what they do these days. I love it when monarchists say that Charles shouldn't be king and should pass straight to William. Do they not understand how hereditary rule works? Yeah, there's no way he's going to pass it over. America almost had a monarchy. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Like George Washington. Did they ask him to be king or something? It's like Assassin's Creed DLC, The Tyranny of King Washington. There's nothing like bullying people off Twitter. Yeah, Kim Urbanson. But to be honest, someone did a good comment in my video. They're like, her takes have just been getting so insane that she must be bankrolled by someone. And I'm always super skeptical of someone who just comes on the scene. She had less subs than me at one point, and then she just blows up like crazy. For example, if I ever get 60,000 subs, you can point to, oh, this guy's been around for X many years. He's like obviously like a normal person because he's interacted so much with his audience and stuff. She just came out of nowhere, high production values, but the confidence is what this is what I was skeptical about. She came out of nowhere, and it was like she knew this was going to be her job. Do you know what I mean? That's what I find weird, because YouTube is obviously a hobby, but it's like it seemed like it was almost a certainty she was going to become a big YouTuber. I don't know why, because maybe the confidence and the set and everything. It's not like someone who just thought, yeah, I'll make my YouTube channel and I'll see how it goes, like most people. It's just like, I'm making this. And obviously she was promoted by the Young Turks in terms of she was on Jimmy Dore's show early on. So, yeah, interesting. Violently Brantley, I wish I'd have Jimmy on. I don't think we'd get along now. I'd probably be alright with him. My brother-in-law wrote a book about Elizabeth I and her slave links, but didn't do well because the UK adores Elizabeth I. To be honest, even if people knew about her slave links, I don't think they'd care, because it was the late 1500s and people would just be like, oh, that's what it was like back then. But yeah, I can see what you said. She is like for the Spanish Armada stuff, definitely. Yes, Kennedy knows it. Feel like pure shit, just want her back. I feel like pure shit, but not gonna lie, she was pure filth. Isn't that Dilfly? But is this the English version? Father, I'd like to fuck. We did have a monarchy. Washington and Adams can call themselves whatever they want, but they're such monarchists. Well, they've obviously changed the definition. Not definition. They obviously, the founding fathers of what they actually were and what they're thought of today. It's like the video I made about Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela. It just changes based on the myths that are spread and who's in power and everything. So you better not say anything bad about Jimmy Dore, I'll get mad. I've already made a whole video on it. And people were mad. Check out the Queen's slave trader, John Hawkins. Yeah, the Queen Elizabeth was quite crazy. It's like Francis Drake was just like, yeah, can I be a pirate? And then she was like, yeah, go ahead. You can do what you want. Francis Drake was a bit of a lad. Oh, okay, nice. When did it come out? Well, the slave trade started in the mid 1400s, so it's not surprising. 2005, that's a long time ago. But yeah, it's got good reviews. So remember that rich private school argument that the eye of the needle referred to an ancient gateway, not that Jesus actually meant exactly what he said. The thing is, what Jesus says in the Bible is so explicitly anti-rich and inclusive of like the downtrodden. That's why I've got a bit more respect for like Martin Luther and the Protestants wanting to be more austere, because they saw the Catholic Church are like, Jesus obviously wouldn't agree with this insane wealth and power. Tony saying, my prayers and millions of others can be heard, but the thread is still there. These Luciferian bastards need to be put like the fire where they came. Everyone keep on praying. Wait, Tony, are you? I don't think I've seen you on my channel before. Are you joking or what? Bristol, Liverpool, the biggest slave city. Seeing the places people were sold, indescribable feeling. What was Does anyone know what London or Southampton was like? I'd be interested to know. Who's Kim Everson? I've watched a couple of her vids, but know nothing about her. She's got independent right-wing media production vibes. Kim was syndicated on other shows in America. She had her own shows. Oh, okay. She was broadcasting before YouTube. I was reading her profile and it said radio mainly. I don't know. Just skeptical. Matt, you're obsessed, man. I'm not doing this. Am I gonna make a vid on Bellingcat's founding? Am I okay in promoting Trump's CIA funded article? Suing the left, that's an objective position. I didn't make a video saying, here's Bellingcat, my favourite news outlet. Please everyone go subscribe to them. I literally said, here's an article. Here's the outline of the Syria Solidarity Movement. Here's the IRS filings. And I read the article out on my channel. I don't think it's such a problem. Jules saying, Kim's channel was random as hell. When I discovered her, I thought I just missed out on another progressive over the years, but I noticed she only had a few videos. Yeah, exactly. She just came out of nowhere at the start of the year. Jimmy Dore might not know everything, but he does admit to being a comedian. Yeah, but come on, that's not an excuse. He doesn't have to know everything. It doesn't mean because he's a comedian, you can't criticise him. I'm not saying you can't like him, but it doesn't mean you can't criticise anything, especially taking pro-Assad money. Yeah, but Michael, do you really think they have no impact on politics? And do you think anyone should have that privilege? Would you agree with me just being able to meet the Prime Minister all the time because I was born into a certain family? So Kennedy's proved my point. Kennedy say, I'm a dumbass and a comedian. I try not to be a shithead and I have a small platform. Yeah, I don't think it's an excuse. Dore isn't funny, his politics are dumb as fuck. I've been using Tumblr again, and I still have a few thousand followers there. And oh, okay, nice. Yeah, it's like I said when I saw your Patreon, it's gotten bigger. I'm saving up my Patreon money. I don't know how much I've got. I haven't taken out any of it yet. I'm waiting. I'm just trying to think about what to buy with it. I'm trying to save up enough. My camera's fine, I guess. I don't know what else I could get. Probably gonna have to get a new computer soon. I never ever use Tumblr though. Brantley just likes Jimmy Dore as a comedian. I like his prank call videos. The guy who does the impressions is super talented. They're so good. The Harrison Ford one is amazing, and the Kevin Spacey one. So you've been subscribed to me for ages, but not getting notifications. So I was talking about this last week. There's if you go into the settings, there's like a double thing you have to click. So you click get a notification. It's like you get them sometimes or you get them all the time. It's really annoying. And what's annoying as well is for some reason, David Dole, Rational National, was talking about on Twitter. YouTube took me out of the recommendations despite my channel doing really well lately. So my Tuesday video on what was my Tuesday video on the American political spectrum was in the recommendation boxes for people, but then my video on Jimmy Dore was not on it, which is really frustrating for me because David Dole was saying YouTube are trying to suppress leftist content creators. So Jesus would have liked my shades. I hope he would have, if he was even real. Oh yeah, Jimmy Dore is actually a comedian. Crowder is not. Crowder just hides behind his comedy to be racist. Chol, the aristocracy existed long before the African slave trade. How far apart are you, Kennedy? Is it just you and that guy still? Sorry, I don't know his name. How far apart are you guys, though? I've never heard of anyone criticising a comedian ever for anything. That's exclusionary and bigoted. Are you being sarcastic, or am I missing the point? We're all in different states. Oh, okay. I'm skint. So, but so glad I got PIP. What's PIP? Veggie burgers are the real joke there. Veggie. Have I ever had a good veggie burger? I've had a good. Oh, I had a nice one, mozzarella and something burger. It was pretty good. Mike's saying, Cav, of course I don't. But when you're Julia, let the MP start pissing about. I do like the idea of having someone who could shut them down, put a damper on them. But Michael, don't you think we could get rid of the monarchy, reform the House of Lords, and maybe have a president? So the president is the head of state. And then we have the prime minister as well. Matt, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think it's as relevant as you think it is. I understand the article might not be from a source that agrees with my politics. The article obviously has a certain bias towards Jimmy Dore and Kim Evanson, but the facts are that they did take that money, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Until he's saying comedians still have influence these people's stances and their fans. Well, the Ukrainian president was a comedian, and he ran as like a joke, and he became the president. Yeah, okay, thank you, Chokin Ashes61. Yeah, because I haven't actually, I don't know when you subscribe. I don't think I've ever seen you comment on my channel, and maybe you have, but not consistently, because I recognise pretty much everyone in this chat apart from you. It seems like it's your first time. Oh damn, HK, too much, man. So you said, hope your audition goes well. Look after yourself. Thanks. Cheers, bro. That's too much money, though. I do appreciate it. I hope it goes well, too. I hope I can get a nicer pair of glasses. I do like these ones, though. I don't like the other ones. But yeah, super appreciate it, man. So you're talking about Impossible Burgers? I've never heard of it. Who does it? So Jules saying, Jimmy Dore's I'm just a jag-off comedian excuse for saying dumb shit gets old. Yeah, exactly. It's not an excuse. I'm just misinformed. Don't take me seriously. But here's my channel, and please give me money to keep spreading everything I say. Personal independence payment. What is that? Am I just super naive? Sorry, I just missed something. English president, that doesn't roll off the tongue nicely. Well, we could have prime minister as well. So Eric saying, I got the Jimmy video, my recommendations. How many people do you subscribe to? You don't have to go check, but like roughly, do you subscribe to a lot of people? Veggie burgers raw are not even vegan. To be honest, if vegan food was cheaper, and it is becoming widely available, but more widely available, I would switch. But also I do recognise, in terms of the environment, you need to change the economic system rather than make personal changes. When Senpai notices me, who's Senpai? Damn, if I could afford such a donation. Yeah, honestly, man, don't. I don't want anyone ever to feel bad for not giving me money, which I hope I make clear. I don't care about the money. I obviously don't care about the money because you should see my my videos and see literally how many demonetized, actually every single one, because I've been really bad lately with planning my videos in advance. So what I used to do was upload 2 days before, get it manually reviewed so they could get monetized. But I've just been not lazy, but I've been doing them super last minute lately, so I've just been making them and then uploading them on the same day. which I need to change because that's not how you grow your channel. But because BreadTube has been my city lately, because every time I post, they're getting like thousands of upvotes. It's been helping the channel a lot. So yeah, this month's been good, to be honest. So 446 new subscribers, 40k views, 154,000 minutes of watch time. So it's been a good month. Best month since April, I think. So been good for me. Thanks to the PewDiePie shit, mainly. And I've got 400,000 official views. I think I have about 600,000 because I priorited loads of videos when I started switching my style. So yeah, this is how much I love money. That only got changed like today. So I made no money. Yellow, yellow, yellow. I banged that one out quick, so I guess it was fine. Yellow, yellow, yellow. See, I don't care about money. But like, this is when I was being a bit better with the scheduling. So I got, but then like, no views. It's, to be honest, when I don't, when they're not monetized, they do way better. I don't know what it is. It's really strange. I don't know what my best monetized video is. Anyway, fucking annoying. Oh shit, someone donated, sorry. I missed it. Brantley is what? This is my last $5. I feel bad if I didn't contribute. I hope it's not your last $5. Your rest of your money is I'm in massive debt and have loan sharks after me. So thanks a lot, Mac, and thanks a lot, Brantley. But if you if you're struggling for money, please don't give me anything. I have my side hustles of writing rubbish articles while getting done dirty at my... Alright, do you guys want to hear an annoying story about my job interview on Tuesday and I didn't get the job, right? I was in the last two for this job, meant to be meeting the CEO and the person who'd be my boss. So I feel like shit. I told her I had really bad fatigue on Tuesday from the migraine. So I wake up feeling like total garbage. Travel there. It's kind of hard to find. I get there, then I meet the boss. It's some random employee. Get into the meeting room. The other employees only worked there for 6 months. Have the interview, goes fine. Then I find out the other candidate, the one I'm competing with, is actually meeting the boss and the CEO later because he had to cancel because he had a meeting apparently. Then I found out even later when I didn't get the job, the guy that they met after me actually had experience in a similar role. So it's pretty much a no-brainer who they'd pick. So they totally fucked me over. And so basically they screw me over, made me go meet two random nobodies. One guy worked there for 6 months compared to 2 people who'd worked there for 20 years. I don't know, pissed me off so bad. But because I'm dealing with a recruiter, I don't have their emails, but I have their phone number. So I really want to email them how like unprofessional and disrespectful it was, which I'm going to do. But it's actually such a piss take. Like literally, I walked out of the interview and I was on the phone with my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, I didn't get that because who the fuck is going to take some random dumbass employee who's worked there 6 months recommendation over a positive meeting with the CEO and the boss? How the fuck is that professional in the slightest? And they didn't even tell me before I got there that I wasn't meeting with them. I just thought I'm meeting with these people. I go there, they're not there. It's just some random 2 other people. It's actually the most disrespectful job interview I've ever had, I think. So yeah, capitalism fucking sucks. Like, I don't mind even getting ghosted, which I have done multiple times, even in the last round, like last 2 or 3 people. I don't even mind that. If I have an equal opportunity with everyone, I go and meet the same person as everyone else, and I don't get it based on merit or whatever, I'm totally okay with that, even though the job hunting process and interview process is pretty, like, I wouldn't say inhumane, what's the word? Detached from, you know, human emotion, I guess, because they don't give a shit about how you feel. But yeah, it's actually infuriating. So yeah, probably my worst experience for a job interview, and I'm super pissed off. I'm just trying to find their email because texting is kind of awkward because you know they've definitely got it, whereas email there's sort of this you don't have to reply, but I want them to know. So yeah, fucking piss take. Sorry. It's a brand called, it's back to the burgers. It's a brand called Impossible, and they sell their burgers to different restaurants. Convincing vegan. Oh, I've seen it actually, but I've never had one. It does sound good though. Antilles saying the point of democracy is that anyone, even idiots, can be president. I have problems with that on some level, but the monarchy is awful. I would rather have a system that can elect horrible people. Yeah, exactly. But also, not Thomas Jefferson. Who wrote the Federalist Papers? Who was it? Not Thomas Jefferson. Shit. Someone write in the comments who wrote the Federalist Papers, and then I'll make my point. Alexander Hamilton. Okay, so he wrote in the Federalist Papers. He talked about Athens during the Peloponnesian War. Basically, they elected Cleon instead of Pericles, who's like the founder of democracy, because Cleon is like this strong man who appealed to them, and he was talking about the dangers of mob rule and why democracy essentially doesn't really work, because the mob does rule, and they'll choose someone like Cleon over Pericles, even though Cleon was just promising them stuff he couldn't do, and then the Athenians actually lost the war to Sparta in the end, even though they elected him. So Eric, 370 subs, what are you talking about? Can't believe a lefty like you doesn't know about PIP. Yeah, I will happily admit I am a bit ignorant on UK politics sometimes. Like, even the stuff with social credit, I'm not 100% clear on. You said you recognise everyone here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I recognise you, Kin. I think this is your second stream that you've been in, though. I recognise pretty much everyone. The fact that Joke Candidate can win in a country like Ukraine gives me hope. Maybe one day that'll happen here. Yeah, BreadTube is my city because I've been on the front page 3 times this month. But England's not my city yet, because there's way bigger English politics YouTubers. So Anthony's saying, I found you via BreadTube, the CIA COD video. Oh, nice one. I'm really proud of that video, but I'm super pissed off because it got confirmed by review to be demonetized, which means it kills the views. So I'm gonna upload it again one day. Maybe when I get 10k subs, and actually get it monetized, because there's no way that should be demonetized. It wasn't that controversial. I'm starting a podcast called Wild Woman based on the project to help the connection with each other, nature, lefty content plus. If you have Twitter or just in the YouTube comments, let me know when you start that. Send me a link. Sorry, I'm behind. So Lee saying, I'm getting help with a debt charity. If you're in a situation like mine, get help from them, independent and useful. What's a debt charity? I'm really ignorant of these things. So are they bailing you out? Makes me glad I don't even get interviews anymore. Cav, you're amazing. Thanks, Desert B. Desert B, are you new as well? I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Yeah, fuck that shit. Yeah, it was annoying. Don't go full chav in your email. No, I'm going to be professional. I'm going to be like, you know, I understand what the, you know, job application process is like. I know, you know, it's just a name on a paper, and I know because you were dealing with a recruiter, it gives another degree of separation. But I said it reflects really poorly on the company, that you wouldn't even tell me beforehand. Like I said, the first point of the unprofessionalism is that I met with 2 random people and I wasn't given any prior warning. Obviously, I did research on the people I was meeting, like, for a while, and then I'm just meeting with 2 randos. And then the second point is, they tell me you're meeting with the other candidate. Why couldn't I have done that? Why couldn't you have rescheduled? Better yet, why didn't you cancel my interview? Because it's clear who the favourite candidate is, and it's clear you've just fucked me over. But yeah, I'm not going to go full Chev. Maybe they saw my Dore video. They wouldn't care about that. It wasn't a politics job. I love not being able to get a good job. It makes for good content. I would agree, but I really haven't made the most of my time. I'm really bad with that. I should be banging out my YouTube like every day. But I got other stuff like football and exercise, and I just get a bit lazy as well sometimes. Where did I go to university? My eldest daughter did politics and history at Manchester. She finished in 2016. Yeah, going back to earlier, I did history at Southampton between 2014 and 2017. And then I did international relations at Royal Holloway. So it's the University of London from the end of 2017 to the end of 2018. So yeah, it was good. I miss it a bit. I miss learning. And because I've been hunting for a job for nearly a year now, going badly, apart from my little side job, and my YouTube's been going well. Two good things. But yeah, I kind of wish I was going back. I want to do a PhD one day. The dream would be, by the time I'm 30, I could have something like YouTube as like a job or something, and I could go do a PhD. And also, if I'm still with my girlfriend at the moment, because 30 is like when I'm 30 plus when I have kids, get married and shit. But it would work out well if I work for home, be some sort of YouTuber or whatever. That's not total dream. I know how unrealistic it is, but still. So can I say, having green hair for over a decade of shit posting, it makes me a great candidate for a job. The shit posts maybe not, but obviously the podcast is definitely a good thing you put in your CV. Like every job that I've ever got to later stages of an interview for this year, I've talked about my YouTube channel, like every single one, and they've always been really positive about it. I guess because I'm not a shithead right-winger anti-SJW, I don't have to hide my political beliefs because they're so awful. Madison and Hamilton, okay. Oh, you're trying Hampton's for undergrad. No, Southampton, yeah, and Royal Holloway for masters. First 5 minutes, yeah. And Southampton for yeah. Thank you everyone for remembering. If you ever get to go there, just mention my name and no one will know who I am. Because I wasn't, I didn't keep to myself. I just wasn't involved in much. Yes, Edward Said, Daniel. Are you talking about? Edward Said, I know it's like a super basic bitch for politics, but if you haven't read Orientalism by Edward Said, you definitely have to, because it's like such a good explanation for the way Western media paints caricatures of the Orient. Well, Orient doesn't exist, but the rest of the world, for example. It's so good. Like sometimes you just read something and you agree with it so much, you're wondering where it's been in your life. That's what I felt with Orientalism. Maybe you don't recognise me because I haven't made facetious sexual comments yet. I always recognise you, Lee, but I also know you make some sexual jokes a lot of the time. I'm subscribing to 370 people. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. It's appearing in your recommendation then, because on my alt account, which is what I use to check if I'm popping up the recommendation, I subscribed to less and it wasn't coming up. Cleon was a demigod. Or to be fair, Pericles did die super early on. Athens would have won it even if after the failures, but the court literally decided to exile and execute their generals because they won. Yeah, have you played Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Pericles gets killed by the cult of Cosmos, but yeah. And you kill Cleon as well in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Oh, okay, the PIP was to do with Ian Duncan Smith being a total cunt to the vulnerable disabled. Thousands have died. Just a general part of austerity then. Wondered if they'd cross paths. She's doing an MA now. Oh, nice. Where's in Manchester as well? She's a bit older than me, I guess. 1 year, I think. Or did you say she went in 2016 or she graduated in 2016? Oh, okay, that's you know your ancient history, Antilles. I'll give you that much. You know about Josephus too. Um, yeah, that sort of stuff it's crazy that happened like 2,500 years ago. It's such a modern thing, isn't it? Ancient Greece is so cool. Lysander, in Assassin's Creed, you help Lysander. He's a Athenian general, isn't he? Um, okay. I keep getting deleted from Twitter. Well, my Twitter is always going to be the same, so whatever. Yeah, that would have been cool actually. But I think the DLC for Odyssey is so good. Well, Legacy of the First Blade wasn't good, but it was okay fighting the Persians. But the Afterlife stuff's really good. I really like it, especially the Torment of Hades. I hope you get a job soon. Thanks, Olivia. I hope so too. It's actually getting depressing. I thought this one on Tuesday I would get until they fucked me over. Um, I spammed my application on Friday night, so I hopefully have something next week. But yeah, it's annoying. The thing is, I just want money, like enough money to go on holiday and buy stuff. There's so much stuff I want. I just want a new Xbox. I just want a new Xbox controller without spending like, just when you don't have a lot of money, every purchase it just hurts. Like I want to buy a nicer pair of those blue light glasses, but I can't. Well, I can afford it, but it'll hurt my soul buying it. Um, so Kennedy, you want to do side projects. You want to dive into 4chan politics and Tumblr. 4chan politics. That would actually be super interesting. And Tumblr politics. Even though, I don't know if it's better known than Tumblr politics, but 4chan politics, I'd love I'd love to hear that. Oh, during Gamergate. Oh, okay, yeah, that is super interesting. Would you do it on YouTube or podcast stuff still? Okay, your youngest daughter's at Leeds Uni, but no, she's doing politics as well. Um, so I go into the interview and say, imagine my shock. Yeah, if I just don't want to get the job. Why do racists pretend they're not racist? I made a video before saying that most people don't understand what racism is. So a lot of people just genuinely don't think they're racist because they don't understand what racism is. They think not being racist means like you don't support segregation or some shit like that. I'm not even joking. That is the logic people use. It's like Donald Trump can't be racist because he's friends with Mike Tyson. That is like the extent of the logic there. I don't know when I made this video. People don't understand racism. Oh, here we go. Let me get the link. But yeah, my channel's doing better at the moment in terms of the average views. I hope I can keep it up. I'll stick this on the thing. If you want to save it for later, maybe. I love referring to Saeed as Ed Saeed, pronounced said. Ed said. My lecturer loved him so much. My Marxist lecturer. Veronica, I work from home and have my PhD at 30. Had kids after 30, not unrealistic. Yeah, it's not. It depends. I need to get moving with a career though. Hi, Legend Jones. Thanks for joining. Late on. Lancaster Uni is going to cost me 15 grand a semester. Why so much? Because you're American. That's so fucking much. That's like two. You could do 2 master's courses for less than that. So you've Antilles has thoughts about how they killed Pericles in Assassin's Creed. I love him, and I just finished A War Like No Other, which is a great book on the war written by a racist nut. Still worth it. Lysander's a smart Spartan. Oh yeah, they keep asking for the seals. So I get mixed up who was asking for what. The best characters in Odyssey, I think, were I really like the Lexios and Phoebe, like their relationship. Demos was cool, because I saved her life in the end. Yeah, it's out, and then Do you know who the leader of the Cult of Cosmos is? I won't spoil it if you don't. Alright, see you later, Matt J. You're watching me. Well, at least you didn't unsubscribe like Wes Luther, whatever the fuck his name was. He unsubscribed for me just for criticising Jimmy Dore. Okay, my eldest went to Manchester, graduated in 2016. So what? Okay, 1 year younger than me. Youngest is now in Leeds in second year, so they are 3 years younger than me. All right, see you later, Michael. Thanks for joining. I think you're gone now, but you have doctors at 10:30. I do want money. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. So you read that book, and it made honesty so fun. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I just bought a little book. Like it's like standing for the codex. I've been playing the discovery mode to learn a bit more. Well, I prefer Origins discovery mode though. Hi Ishmael, yeah, controllers are mad expensive. Xbox ones are expensive. I don't mind buying a PS4 one. Yeah, Kenny, I understand that. Just buying the shit of thing because you don't want to waste the money. Podcast definitely. Oh, okay, nice. Until he's saying if someone covers 4chan, I would watch it. Let me understand it without having to go on that site because I want to avoid like the plague. Yeah, exactly. What's up with those glasses? I had a crazy night out in a state. No, just because I think the migraine stuff might be being triggered by like screens and blue light and shit. So I've been wearing glasses a lot more. All right, shit. I might if you're gone HK, I'm sorry, but yeah, thanks for the donation and have a good week as well if you ever see this. The goalposts being racist moves based on the decade. Yeah, exactly. Jules saying I want a PS4 so I can play the Final Fantasy VII remake when it comes out, but I'm also broke. I want a new PS4 because I literally have the total original PS4, which don't even have a power button. You just wave your finger over a sensor. Because like Cyberpunk's coming out and some other games that need good graphics. I want to buy recording equipment and a computer. To be honest, you don't need that good equipment. But like for example, I've done some videos on my phone and it's looked quite good. But it gets getting a video off your phone is just such a piss take. Why is it so complicated? I made a video on the Chinese anniversary of the revolution, and it was 17 minutes long. I literally couldn't get it off my phone. I couldn't upload it to the drive. I couldn't upload it to some document thing I had. I couldn't upload it straight to YouTube either. So I just ended up deleting it, which is annoying because it was super long and you know, I did it in one take. iPhone. Both my kids do politics. Oh, that's good. They'll be very educated. My sister is going uni next year and she's going to do politics and law thanks to my influence. But she's good at it, so. Had a migraine, needed blue light. Oh yeah, you're telling him for me, thanks. Yeah, Kennedy, there's loads of things I want to do. For example, I want to start writing articles for myself again on stuff I like movies and games and stuff. But I just can't be bothered. It's just that. But I have so much. Not I have so much free time, but I know I could make the way more out of my time, but I just don't. Because my sleeping schedule is so fucked up. Oh, okay, Brantley. it's alright. Sorry I've neglected your channel. I actually forgot about you. Yeah, don't worry. Everyone forgets. My mum actually believes Trump isn't racist, as sad as it sounds. It's crazy. People think that. People think the Republican Party aren't racist as well, so... Old people are the worst. Can't wait till they all die out. My grandma loves Trump for some reason. Probably because he's pro-life. Or he says he is. Yeah, choking on ashes. So many Brexit little chavs who are just the dumbest fucking people ever. It's made me... well, the good thing I can fall back on is saying I'm Irish because Brexit has made me hate... being English so bad. Jimmy Dore is a prophet. A prophet of what? He's the second coming. Kath doesn't do drugs. We don't got to worry about crazy nights out. Yeah, I don't even really drink either. With his migraine shit, I might never drink again. J.K. Rowling went to Exeter. Oh, okay. I don't know if anyone famous went to Southampton. In terms of live streaming, I just use my phone, which is pretty good. It depends kind of what you want to do, though. Never met a Trump supporter. I met one English Trump supporter, and he's just a nutcase. Oh, actually, no, I interviewed that fucking Trump supporter at the London protest. Yeah, I feel that as well, Kennedy. I feel like the extent of my creativity is making 2 videos a week and doing a live stream, and then writing like an article, and then I'm done. I think when I actually get a full-time job, I'm going to be more busy, and I'll actually be motivated to do more, as weird as it sounds. So Ken's saying that's your problem. iPhone's closed system is tough to deal with. There's a PC. Yeah, I think I used to back in the day. I have an app like that, but it still doesn't really work. It's just annoying. Yeah, it might require a jailbreak. Your oldest is doing law too. It's all the same subjects. Yeah, it's good. Politics is. I don't. I don't know what I enjoyed more. I liked history, but I found politics a bit better. Jimmy Dore is Irish. Maybe he is. I'm Cornish, not English. The English stole your language. Who was it? Was it Alfred the Great who conquered Cornwall? Or is it someone else? Yeah, the pro-life shit is the main reason. And Tilly's mum and grandparents support Trump despite him getting abortions in the past. Yeah, exactly. I saw your interview of the Trump support at the protest. I just feel sorry for people like that. Like, he was literally supporting privatising the NHS just because Trump had brought it up. I tried to, like, find some common ground, but he just... I made a video about how I feel about stuff like this. Like, do I really hate the individuals, or do I just feel like no one has a choice? I kind of bounce back and forth between all that stuff. Everyone in the Midwest has Irish ancestry. Everyone in America thinks they're Irish. Best advice, don't get caught in the fruit-based technology bubble. Is that what you did? Oh, are you talking about... I thought you were talking about the job stuff. You just talk about Apple. Yeah, I'm stuck now. Look, iWatch, iPhone. Yeah, I'm stuck. Apple Music. I can't leave. Oh, okay, she's doing a master's in law. Nice. I think it's good to diversify it, and I think law degree is more worth more. What's the word? I don't know. Employers like it more. I do like it too, having all the stuff on Apple, but yeah, I have an iPad as well. But it is annoying. Yeah, everyone becomes Irish on St. Patrick's Day. I've never, ever, despite being half Irish, I've never celebrated St. Patrick's Day. And I actually, like, directly know my Irish family. Yeah, youngest daughter's doing international relations and politics. Just like me. The best subjects. Alright. Streamed for about 2 hours. Any last questions or anything you want to talk about, get it in. So I think about wrapping up in a sec. So Anthony's saying, I love Ireland. I'm looking into that ancestor, but I never call myself Irish because it's too distant to claim that. It's a hard one, the identity stuff, especially for Americans, I think, because obviously your country is completely made up of immigrants, because where did all the white people come from? So I can definitely understand that. With this Brexit stuff, it's just made me think about where I come from a lot more. And for example, if you kind of say, if you're like got an English accent, I'm Irish, people won't believe you. But if I was half I don't know, Nigerian, I would be fully black because all my family are completely Irish. Like, all my grandparents were born in Ireland, and then my dad and mum were born in England, but to Irish parents. She wants to do criminal defence or human rights. She's super bright. They both are. Sounds good. Sounds like you've raised a lot of good kids who are all interested in politics and want to do good things, which is a good thing. I hope my kids are like that. I'm worried about my kids just like not liking this stuff at all. I'm gonna try and not force it on them if I have kids, but I probably will. Jules saying I am Irish. My mother's maiden name is Riley, and my family's full of redheads. I'm one of the few blondes. But do you know any Irish people in your family, like actual Irish? Sarah saying, I could be an Irish citizen if I get my hands on my late grandfather's birth records. He came to the US as a baby to escape the Troubles. Oh, okay, nice. It's the same with me. I need to get my grandparents' birth records to get an Irish passport if I want to stay in, have an EU passport still. Is Jimmy Dore the best, most accurate reporter in history or the greatest? He's none of the above. He's kind of funny sometimes, and I guess if you have to choose someone to watch on YouTube, you could pick a lot worse. That's the most praise I'll give him. People in America have used Irish ancestry as an excuse to be racist, and it fucking sucks. It makes me want to die. What do you mean? Racist to who? So Cold Crash Productions has an amazing video, Gone with the Wind, about heritage and the race of African Americans. Is fantastically done. I do like this identity stuff. It is super interesting. But at the same time, it's like, does it really matter where I'm from? I guess socialists don't really believe in borders, so... Can you move to Ireland if you have a grandparent born there? At the moment, it's pretty easy to move to Ireland anyway, because they're in the EU. In terms of becoming an Irish citizen, I don't know too much about the Irish immigration process. I imagine if you're a citizen, it'd be pretty easy. And you can become a citizen if you have your grandparents' birth records from Ireland. That's as far as I know. I know to get an Irish passport, you need the birth certificates of your grandparents or whatever. All right, Jules, thanks for tuning in and joining us again. I appreciate it. So, yeah, have a good week. See you next time, if you're about. Sarah saying, if a grandparent is a citizen, you can petition to become one. Oh, okay. So Anthony's saying, my mum uses Ireland to dodge being racist. The Irish got treated poorly, like she doesn't even know anything about the famine or the race science, but I want to claim that. Yeah, okay. They're like Irish people were slaves. But the thing is, Irish people were treated awfully, but were able to assimilate easily without the stigma because they were white. So they benefit. It's like this thing that Jewish people can benefit from white privilege despite there being lots of discrimination against Jews. And there's not discrimination against Irish people anymore, pretty much. And they benefit from white supremacy. So as much like Jimmy Dore's passion, he does have a penchant for being misguided on many things. It's quite disturbing, and people mistake his anger, aggression for knowledge. Yeah. I don't really mind someone being not as knowledgeable and passionate, but it's just worse when they double down and don't take criticism well. Stop getting the Cranberries stuck in my head. The Cranberries, the band. Okay, I'll end it there. So I'll read your last comments if you're writing them now. So as for this week on my channel, don't know what I'm going to be uploading. I think I might do one about the press and about how the left-wing criticism of the corporate media is right and how the right-wing one is insane, but there is like this common ground. So I might talk about that. I need to get another one up. I'm going to see what happens this week, maybe. But we'll see everything, So yeah, thanks Kennedy for joining. Yeah, always good to talk. Appreciate it. See you later, Sarah. Bye, Jules. The Cornish are wiped out. Yeah, we lost the language. British did that to the Welsh and the Irish as well. So pretty shitty. Eric saying, could you do a video on how Thatcher managed to win the election after the election dispute, promoting politics that hurt the average people? Eric, if I'm honest, I don't know enough about it, and at the moment, I've got a couple videos I'm researching and writing scripts for in the background, so I'll keep it in mind. I can't promise anything though. Yeah, see you, Antilles. Thanks for the good conversation about classical history and Assassin's Creed. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining me. I do appreciate it. Everyone who donated, they're too kind and, you know, very nice. And for the new people joining and the people who've only recently started coming in, I do really appreciate it as well. It's always nice to see new people. And yeah, next Sunday, just keep a look on the community tab on the Sunday afternoon. I normally post about if I'm going to do it or not. And been pretty good, a bit of a streak lately. So I'll pretty much guarantee to do another one next Sunday. And yeah, everyone have a good week. And yeah, I appreciate all of you joining me. And yeah, have a good rest of your weekend if you still got a bit of the evening left. So yeah, see you guys later.